name is Ian, I already said. And in the path into oneness, I discovered there's some certain things I am like naturally born with. For example, certain tendencies, certain characteristics, certain predispositions. For example, I like the color blue, or this color that I'm wearing, or certain food, certain music. I am with natural tendencies to do certain things, and that is making this kind of difficulty, because there's certain people with different tendencies, and I understand this oneness, and then there's this big I.
Yes.
There is this smaller I that likes
Yes.
this color blue, and that
Yes.
food and that music, and there's that desire to surround myself with the color that I like, to eat that
Yes.
food that I like, to
Yes.
listen to that music that I enjoy.
Yeah. And what's the problem?
Well, where is this the desire coming from?
From God. From the big I that likes to experience itself as lots of different eyes. So like the preference for blue is still God's preference. Where it becomes not God's preference is if you can't have the color blue and it creates suffering, then you know that that suffering is an attachment that was developed for the color blue, an identity, and a kind of identity with the one who likes the color blue. There you kind of divorced God a bit, or God divorced itself a bit. It fell in love with its own creation. So I don't know if I'm being clear, but in other words, there's nothing wrong with having preferences. It's natural. It's how it's, you know, like different species in nature, different animal species have different ways of being and habitats and all this. It's normal, natural. But the interesting part would be to make sure that there's not a kind of attachment, or when there's an attachment, then you know you're in the realm of suffering, and you can shine a light on it to so that you can reorientate yourself.
So when there is kind of a pain, there is this separation and attachment.
What do you mean by pain?
And the pain and suffering is very similar. Yeah. So this is that the signal when there is this attachment, and then this difference.
If I take away your blue shirt and I say you can never have a blue shirt again, and if that creates, you might go, oh, I love blue, you know, why not? I want, but it's light. But if I say no, you can't have blue anymore, and it creates a deep suffering, like I will never survive without the color blue, then you know that there's something there for you to look at. It's no longer God's desire, God's light desire. It's my desire, and my happiness depends on having blue. You see the difference? Yes. I'm exaggerating a little bit.
But it's important to have this difference.
So you can, and most of us, we have a bit of a mixture of both. We have preferences that are healthy and light, but they're suffused with attachment. It's normal, you know. It's how that's what we call the ego. It's separation. It's conditioning. So therefore, it's an interesting, very good question, and we have to be gently and honestly looking to see when.
And I was wondering if 100% detachment is even healthy.
No, you see, I don't think I'm even suggesting. Well, that's just a theory, right? What would 100% detachment be? I mean,
is it even possible?
I don't think you should have that as a spiritual agenda. Like, I want to reach 100% detachment. No, just live your life in line with your understanding, and that will include becoming aware of when my happiness depends on this or that outcome. And don't worry about
triggering some pain.
Yes.
There is where it starts being the attachment and ego.
Yes, but don't have the idea, I have to become detached 100%, because that's just another attachment to being detached. Just, your love is for the truth. So when there's pain or suffering or contraction and there's the opportunity to inquire, do. And then go swim in the blue sea, you know, like.
Beautiful. Thank you. It's very clear now.
Good. Thank you. What's your name again?